What is up, guys? On this week's episode, we have Sam from Build. We talk about mindset, tall poppy syndrome, how he's been able to build his business into a multi-million-dollar business in 2 short years, how he strategically hired people smarter than him, and the systems and processes required in order to dramatically improve his business. All of that on this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch up with people about it.
Sam, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good catching up for a coffee before, and just kind of one of those things. We'll do the podcast without the cameras being on, you know?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
I was like, let's get in there into the studio. Let's get going, mate. Otherwise, we're going to just be talking here for hours. But fascinating story. You know, for me, it's been interesting just following your journey. You know, I think I probably came across you maybe a year ago or something like that. But you've only been in business, 2 years?
Yeah, just over 2 years.
Fascinating me. And your business has grown a lot, and you've done a lot of good things, and you've learned a lot, you know, as you mentioned before. But let's start sort of more at the beginning. I want to get a bit of an idea of your background and kind of what made Sam, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so where did you did you grow up around here, or where did you grow up?
So I was born and raised in Birmingham in England, and then I moved here and I did came here last year at primary school and grew up out in East Auckland. So I was raised out there and went to high school out there. Had a bit of a interesting early life. I was not the conventional sort of learner. I ended up getting kicked out of 6 high schools growing up. So I was a bit of a toe rag, politely put. And then ended up getting back and finishing school and actually went to uni and did AUT and studied marketing.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so for my first year, I did 1 year of marketing at AUT, and then I was like, this isn't it. This isn't it for me. Moved home, and my mum and my stepdad were living out in Hobsonville. This is 10 years ago now. And he comes to me one day, he's like, so you got no job, you're not doing anything, you're just around the house. Like, what size shoe are you? I was like, 10, what's up? And he's like, oh, yeah, sweet, I'm just going out to work. Went out. Came back a few hours later, and he's like, we're just going to go for a drive and a chat. And this guy and my mum had only been together for 2-3 years. I'm like, I don't even really know you, man. Whatever. Go out with this guy, and we go for a drive, and then we're driving through Hobsonville. And he goes, got something for you in the back seat. And I look in the back, pair of steel caps, and he's like, get the fuck out of the car and get a job. And sent me out through Hobsonville and said, these steel caps, and I'm just knocking on these sites. I'm like, hey, does anyone need a labourer? And Dempsey Wood took me on. And so I started in civils as a labourer in civils and worked my way up as a machine operator and worked at Dempsey Wood for, I think I must have been there for 1.5 years, 2 years. And then they gave me a cadetship, and so they were like, we'll put you into uni. We want you to study, become a civil engineer. I was like, seems like a good option. When you do your engineering paper, the first paper you do at Unitech is construction management. So you're with the project managers and QSs and everyone. And I was like, man, these guys are making more money than me, and they're not getting dirty and wet. And I was like, came back to Dempsey. I was like, hey guys, I'm real sorry. I'm done with civils. So left civils, carried on with my papers, doing it in the evenings, and got a job for a residential builder out in Torbay, doing high-end homes and started my apprenticeship there, my building apprenticeship. Out there and did that and studied and then this studying thing wasn't for me. My building apprenticeship was all good, but I got an opportunity to be a project manager at a commercial furniture company. So I left my apprenticeship, didn't finish that, and went there to Zenith Interiors. Worked there, was fortunate enough to be headhunted by one of our clients to Matrix Group, and did work at Sky City and RTS Centre and got into the fit-out space, and then from there moved to a few other companies over the years, and then, boom, here we are with Build.
Crazy. That's a very fast track. I'm like, ooh, you know,
that's a rapid version. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So I didn't know actually that you did the apprenticeship, started the apprenticeship like that. So you weren't actually born here. What age did you come here?
Year 6. What is that?
Like we like
12,
year 6, like 11 or something. Yeah,
Somewhere,
like that.
somewhere around.
Yeah, I don't know my years. I know forms.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were about 11. What was that like? Was that moving? And did you move here with your mum?
Moved here with my mum and my mum's partner at the time, my stepdad. It was a huge change in culture, man. Like I think we moved here and we were in Newmarket when we first got here, and then we moved to Oraki, and I say this like you'll laugh at this. I remember the first time I saw a Māori person, and I was like, Mum, this kid is huge. Like, what is this guy? Like in England, we don't have Islanders. Like, there's no Islanders. And I was like, this guy's like, we're year 6. This guy's like a full grown man.
It's definitely 18 or something.
Yeah. But like just a huge culture change. And like, you just went from like where you are in the UK. It's so, I don't understand the appeal personally. It's dark. It's wet. It's not actually, there's good earning, but it's not. And I came here and there was like trees. We're outside. There's nature. There's all this land of opportunity. And I think through my life of having my family back home, the UK has given me some of my greatest assets, even in my later years. I think the thing with the UK is that there's so many people. In New Zealand, we don't understand. Like, like we're upset and we're getting concerned now that we're becoming a more integrated and multicultural country. In the UK, man, if you're not going to do that job, that guy's going to do it for $5 less, and he's going to go get it done. Like, you have to hustle.
Yeah.
And you grow up with that mindset, right? Like, you're hustling. My parents have always been workers. Like, my mum, I was raised by a single mum. She worked full time. My nan helped raise me, or I was at a childminder. Like my mum's a worker. Like, we grind, and that's just how I grew up. And then I came here, and I was like, Kiwis work amazingly, right? And you hear about it overseas. Everyone's like, oh, New Zealanders are amazing. The New Zealanders that are overseas, those guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys are out there, they're grinding. There's a lot of people in this country that are lazy. Like,
yeah, because it's like it's almost like when they go over there, it's competitive. So now they have the ability to go hard,
Yeah.
But maybe here it's just because there's more opportunity, and I mean Australia's probably the same as well. There's a lot of opportunity, and you can kind of make do. I guess it's a bit harder now with the increase of cost of living and everything like that. People are starting to like now realize they have to hustle a lot harder. But yeah, in terms of the I don't know. Like, it's kind of like, I guess it's a bit easier, right? Like if you don't have to scrap together cash and don't have to hustle as much, then it's a bit easier. I know a lot of my mate I lived in Australia a little bit, and my mate just came back from Australia to said to me the other day as well, like over there, it's because it's so not a lot of guys start businesses there because you don't have to. Like, you can just go work for a job and actually earn good coin, and you can become a barista and like buy an apartment with like your barista, income.
This is,
you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be like that.
Why would you take the risk of owning your own company?
Yeah, why would you go through the hassle and hiring people and and yeah. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's kind of like it's true. So when you've come from there, okay, so that's kind of been foundational because obviously you're a grinder, and that's come in. And then the other thing as well is probably like we talked earlier about that sort of tall poppy aspect as well. Because you're confident, you're kind of like let's go, kind of mentality, which I like. I'm all for it. I'm from South Africa. South Africans are known to be quite, people almost think they're somewhat arrogant sometimes because they're so loud or whatever. But has that played an impact? The fact that you've come from a different country to New Zealand and you just don't have that, like there's like a tall poppy vibe. Have you clashed with that a fair bit? As you've grown up?
Massively. Like, even like in my professional career since starting Build, like I'm not everyone's guy. But if I'm your guy, like I heard this the other day, like back the jockey, not the horse. I'm the best jockey. I'm gonna, like, you know what I mean? Don't worry about the horse. Like, and I think that the tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand is that people don't like that. Like, no, don't do that. Just do your job. Be quiet about it and stay in your lane and earn your stripes and, you serve your time and then you can do this and then you can do that. Why? Why do I need to follow that regiment? Like, I'm just going to do it. And if I want to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I love it. Like I found even like well, even moving to New Zealand, like this, everyone's definitely, and I think it's come from like it's an island mentality, right? Like people are just more relaxed, and there's like definitely heaps of positives about that as well. People are a bit more relaxed, and it's kind of like a cool, chilled vibe. And but when it comes to building a business, when it comes to getting ahead and all of that stuff, that could be, that can hold you back. So it's almost like when I moved here, over time, I've just sort of like chilled out a lot more. I don't know if you found that, or you see it in yourself. You're like, oh man, like what, what's going on,
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know. It's up for debate. But yeah, the tall poppy thing is definitely something it's definitely not good for New Zealand, right?
Nah, it's awful, man. It's probably like one of the worst things. And in the construction industry, I think it's rife amongst your peers and contractors and everyone. I think as a wider as a holistic look of like New Zealand, like as a country, like we're terrible at it, right? You see it in sports and on the media and everything. But and then like from my experience in construction, I think I found it like it's quite daunting. And I think for someone who may not be like I'm quite confident, as you said, and I back myself. But for someone with lesser confidence and not as self-assurance, like of like being positive about yourself, like I feel it could what's the detriment, right? Like where are we going to let our insecurities of putting people down actually affect that person? Is it going to hold them back? And it's huge.
Yeah, it's I just don't think it's a good thing, like to be. I mean, I saw it like recently, when this was like big developer in New Zealand that went like into liquidation or forced liquidation or something like that recently. And just like how everyone that you kind of talk to is just like pounding on, they're just like jumping on that guy. Like, yeah, he was too, because the guy's like flashy or whatever.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like, the guy drives a nice car and whatnot, and then straight away, everyone, it's almost like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a societal thing as well. Not just limited to Kiwis, obviously, but just a societal thing as well, where they just love to pounce on someone when they've failed, or when I don't know. It's just maybe it makes them feel good or something. Like, see, like you shouldn't live like that. That's why it didn't work out or whatever. But yeah, it's just like a filthy mindset, I think, mentality.
Terrible, man. And I think about it like everyone loves you when you're winning, right? Like when he was up,
yeah,
and he was doing all these things, everyone's like, oh. Look at him go, look at those guys, Yeah. No one stopped to think about it. Everyone was just like, oh, these guys, it's a bit flashy, but look at him go. The minute, you come down, everyone wants their pound of flesh.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk a bit about your business. I want to hear what the journey's been like. Talk to me through like why you decided to start your own business and what gave you the how dare you think that you could start a business like a couple of years ago? What was that journey like, sort of kicking it off?
I was just like I was working. I'd worked for another company. I was going super hard in my role, and a mentor of mine. I was doing some projects at one of his properties. He owned a big building and lots of retail in Ponsonby, and I was doing some work for him there. And he's like, man, like you're doing big days. Like, why don't you just do this for yourself? And I was like, he's right. Like, my son was 4 days old, and I went from the hospital with my partner, like leaving hospital after 4 days. She's in the car. I was like, hey, you need to stay in the car. I need to go check on the site. I had my son in a front pack with earmuffs on, and went and like was project managing on site. Like I was just working. Like but I love it. Like and he was just like, what are you doing? Do this for yourself. Like, why are you doing this for someone else? And I was like, yeah. I sort of pondered it for a little bit, and then was looking at my son at home, 4 months old, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit. Like if I don't do this now, I will never be able to take this leap, or like it'll be another 10 years before because my risk appetite will die, Like I could feel it diminishing as I'm looking at this little human that needs me to like survive. I'm like, I can't take these huge risks. So went for it and just had one project, which was on Ponsonby Road. It's a little retail store, and it was just me in a truck, just running around, had some subbies and helping me out. And yeah, we just went from one store to, another opportunity. And I think the way, my biggest points were like, I didn't like the way that the industry had this like, I digressed. The reason I went to start builders. I didn't like how the industry was like, this is how things have been done for this long. This is how you have to do it. And I would always question. Prime example, my boss at the time, he was like, why aren't you in the office at 7 in the morning? Like, why are you not here at 7? I said, I don't come in the office at 7. Go to my sites. No. You need to come to the office first. Why do I need to come to the office? Then go back to, like, you know, which just didn't align with me. And I think there was lots of things in the industry. I was like, I don't understand it. And then I started to see on social media all these guys making these Shopify brands. I was like, how are these guys making millions of dollars without actually doing anything, right? Like, they're just drop shipping. They found this product that looks like this, and they're just clicking it here, delivering it to this person here, making millions. And I just got in this rabbit hole of like digging and understanding and Googling and talking to people. I was like, so you're telling me they just created a brand and that people aligned with the brand and they could make money off that? I do stuff. Like, I actually create a product that you get. Like, I'm doing tangible work. Like, why don't I market that? And then the way I sum up Build, and this is how I'd say to clients, I'm like, you know, the idea with it was, I was like, I could buy a wallet from Kmart. It's going to hold my money, right? $5. It's a $5 wallet. I could buy a wallet from Louis Vuitton, $500. It's going to hold my money. But the way that wallet makes me feel, the way that Louis Vuitton wallet makes me feel, the way that I align, I got that in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy. Yeah, I've got this wallet. They both hold my money. Why can't I be the Louis Vuitton of construction, right? I'm not high end or anything like that, but I want to make you feel something. I'm doing work with the guys that Build. Yeah, look at us. Like, you know, why can't we create a brand and create a community, like, and create a feel? Like, when that sub used to be like, yeah, man, I'm doing that stuff with those guys. Yeah, we're doing this. I want clients to be like, oh, I've seen, you know, I want you to feel something. I don't want to just be a construction company that you're going to find on Google. I'm the guy that makes you feel something, you know?
Yeah. I love that, because like that's, I mean, what is brand? It's like, yeah, it's people are either aligned or misaligned. It makes them feel something. They're either, you know, people are subconsciously like attracted or repelled by brands, right? And so it's really important to know that when you're trying to go after a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Isn't it, are you going to put yourself in a better position if you are the brand that's actually, that they feel attracted to and that it makes them feel something in a positive way? I think, okay, so you kind of then, how long did it take you then to go, okay, well, I need to do this brand thing? And what was like the first steps that you kind of took to like, okay, well, I need people to feel something. How did you figure out how to do it? Did someone help you? Did you come up with it yourself? And what was the first step of like doing it?
I sort of had the idea. I was like, I want it to look, and I started looking around, and I think back to when I started, I'd probably say like that the only guy that was sort of in the industry doing it is he's been here, Troy.
Troy,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he was
QBS.
like he was the original kind of like construction brand. Like
shout out Troy.
Yeah.
He's a good man. I love Troy. He's a good dude.
Pay me later, Troy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
man. But like, so I sort of looked at them, and I looked a lot in Australia at like Shop for Co and some of these other fit out companies over there, and I just sort of pulled and looked at this, and then like, and I had no money. Like I'd quit my job. I had a 4-month-old baby. My partner's not working. Like she's on maternity leave. Like I got like 10 grand in my bank. I'm like, let's go. It's either like we're either gonna do this and we're not gonna fail. And I found some guy that my barber knew. He's like, I know a guy. He can do your logo and a website. Hey man, I want to kind of look like this, feel like this. I think the name's gonna be Build. How much? He's like $500. And so I paid $500, and I got a website and I got my brand and sort of played around with the name, the logo, the look, the feel, and then we didn't do any paid marketing, nothing paid for the first 12 months, and I just figured out researching how to create organic following and interact, and a lot of it, I sort of live by an understanding of like you need to be vulnerable. People relate to vulnerability. And like I look at the first post of Build and I'm like, it was just me like raw being like, oh, I just got a truck. This is awesome. Oh, I've just got my first site. Here's my first ever hazard board. Like, you know, like and people like that. Like, and yeah, I just started to cultivate and create a following. Really.
Yeah, there's kind of like an element. Were you ever self-conscious in a sense of that, oh shit, what if this business doesn't work? I've put myself out there, like, hey, this is my first truck, this is my first, and then next week we're closing down. You know what I mean? Was there ever like that limiting belief, or did you not really have that? Was you just like, let's go, I'm gonna make this work no matter what?
I think the first 2 years, man, I never had that. Like, I just like was so driven that I was just pushing. I think now where we are, like, we've gone like this, boom, and now we're sort of stabilizing, right? And then we're going to go up again, and we'll stabilize. Now I understand how business works. You got to go, you got to flatten out, and then you can grow. We were just going like this, and the problem with rapid growth is you can't see your mistakes. So now I have that anxiety, and it comes back to that tall poppy syndrome. I'm like, if I fail, like, what happens to me? Am I on a plane? Am I going back to England? Like, where am I? Like, like what's, but you can't operate like that.
No.
You gotta just think, give it 100%, right? People fail all the time. I get things wrong. My guys get stuff wrong. Like, everyone does. Like, you just need to, as long as you're giving 100 and I can walk away from it, I'm like, 100%. I gave 100% to it.
Yeah. I love that, because it's like, because our thoughts just go, like, it just bounces out. It's like, oh, what if this goes wrong? And then your thought, like a million miles an hour, right? It just goes boom, and then that will happen, then that will happen, and then I'll be on the street, I'll be under a bridge with my family. You know what I mean? Like, your mind goes like, it's like just a negative thing. But it looks to me though that your mind is like a bit more like there's more positivity there and a bit more rock solid. Would you agree? Like, you kind of don't seem to me like a guy that sort of goes down the negative path of thinking very often.
Nah, I try not to, man. Like, and it's something like I just like it's just not in my DNA. Like, I'm a positive person. I'll always look at the glass half full. I'm okay, sweet. Like, there's that issue. Like, we're like, oh, you've missed this on site. Like, we've not done that detail. That's all good. Now you know for next time. This is how this curve is done. Like, now you understand. Like, don't look at it as like you made this mistake. This is going to cost me X. Like, just look. That outlook, I think, has done me massive in my life.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to look at life. Like, just in running, when you run a business as well, you're going to have to have that, and you got to constantly turn up every day, ready to go. Anyway, so you started the year one. What was your first hires? Like, how quickly did you start hiring people, and then how did you get your work? Was that just through that organic? Did you kind of hit the phones, hit the pavement, like networks? Like, how did you kind of? Let's talk me sort of through the first 6 months. What did that look like?
So we had obviously, I had the socials going that we were building. And like my day is like doing the work on site, doing the job, like calling people, and then my evenings are like YouTubing, understanding how to market. So like by day, I just set out a real simple thing, and I still do this now. Every day I'd write 5. At the start it was 10 names because you're just trying to grow. I'd write 10 names down. I was like, I'm going to call these 10 people. Call these 10 people. Just cold call. Hey, man, how's it going? You free for a coffee next week? Whatever. YouTube, Googling, finding another 10 names or like people I knew. And I was just calling 10 people a day, every day for like 4 months.
And who were these people? Were they people that owned like, were they like retailers? Were they like, who were these people you were calling?
I was calling designers. I was calling retailers. I was calling landlords. I was calling property developers. I was calling everyone. I was just like, just can I have 5 minutes of your time? I'm doing this now. I don't need you to give me work, but I just love to sit with you and tell you what I'm doing and get some guidance and wisdom. And it just went like that. People saw what I was doing, and like people saw how like hard I was hustling. I'm like, I'm gonna give that guy a chance. And also, like, it's a thing, like, whoever you are, even me, I find now, like, if someone comes to you for advice and you're giving like mentorship or guidance or advice or whatever, you want that guy to win. You're like, I've given you some nuggets. Like, how can I make you succeed? Because then I feel like I succeeded, right?
Yeah.
So doing that alignment with people and talking to other guys and other fit out company owners, or like, I was just calling everyone, and I just wanted to be around, and I was just here, there. It was craziness. And So we did a lot of that. We were posting on their socials. I was like, I created some template, and I think it was like I had to do 3 posts a week, 1 story a day, because the way at the time Instagram's algorithm was like you'd be on the I don't even know what it's called, like that feed,
Like Discover feed or whatever, whatever it's called.
So like I wanted to get on that. I was like, I need to be on that. I need to be moving enough that I get on this. So we did that, and then yeah, man, like I was just grinding. So yeah, we just did that, and I was running these projects. We had awesome subcontractors that, you know, some guys that I've worked with for years that backed me, and they were like, "We'll come do some work for you." And
so you'd get so then people would come to you. You'd get, so like say a designer or whatever would come to you. You'd get to work, and then what would you outsource most of it to subbies at that point in time? Did you have anyone working in house?
No one. So I didn't hire my first person for 5 months. It was all me. So I was pricing. I was doing it, working with the subs, like running the jobs and doing progress claims and all of that stuff. My first hire, a friend of mine had told me, your first hire, you're going to want to hire like a project manager or you're going to want to hire a QS, but your first hire, you need to hire an administrator. And I was like, why? He's like, I'm telling you, man, you hire an administrator and you'll see how much easier life is. So I hired an administrator. I was like, you know, he's been doing the business for a long time. I'm going to take his advice. Hired a part-time administrator. Oh, I hit the next level. Suddenly I'm not, you know, like, she's booking the meetings, she's doing that. I was going. I was like, I can run another 2 jobs. Like I'm running 4 sites now.
So she was just like taking off all those low value tasks, the very repetitive stuff, like the just taking that off your plate. So now you don't even have to worry about that. Now you have more capacity to focus on higher value tasks, which is get more work essentially.
Oh, 100%. Like we were doing things like, you know, when I started, we've got a few little touch points that I've always wanted to keep with Build. We finish a project, at the handover, you're going to get, the clients get a gift and a handwritten card. I personally still write every card, every handover, right? Like just a little touch point. I want you to feel, I was like, you buy a house, the real estate agent does it for you and you put down $100,000. Like these people give me $1 million. Like the least I could do is write you a card and say thank you, you know what I mean? But like stuff like that, like she would make sure it's always done. She was like, Sam, you've got your day is 7 meetings and you're running a job. She's like, you can't do that. You need to move some to the next day. Having another person to flow off and help structure and then like just tidy up some systems and operations. And
was she almost like a PA?
Yeah, similar.
PA, and she's almost like a PA to you, and then she would do like tasks, like administrative tasks in the business.
Yeah.
Anything that was lower, and you sort of pass it on to her. And okay, so that started freeing up your time. And then how did you figure out you need to start building out some systems and processes? Did you start doing that yourself, or did she help with that? How did that work?
So the next person I hired after that was I got my accountant at the time. He was like, hey man, I know this guy. He's a contracting QS. You need some help, like, because again, I'm not a QS by trade. I price as a builder or shop fitter, you know, like. I'm like, I can do it, but that's not always right, you know. Like, and you need a price, like the difference between markup and margin. I didn't know that at the start when I started my business. You know, my overheads, am I covering that? Like, you know, like
what are my overheads?
Yeah, what is my overhead? I don't know. There was all of these things, and so we had that guy come in, and he's like, dude, you got so much stuff you're pricing, but like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just going, and. Yeah, sorry, I digress, but yeah, he
just took you back for a second.
Yeah, I just thought about those days, and then he started helping, and then he was like, "We need some systems," and then so we started creating the systems, and she would help me there, and even things like a capability statement or anything like that, and so we started creating some like SOPs back then, but they weren't really followed. I'd say for the first 12 months, they weren't really followed. We've just actually gone through a massive phase of like redoing SOPs and like roles and responsibilities within the business. And in January we did that with the company, like with everyone involved. So like we've just set new processes, procedures, and like quite drilled now. But I think
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So you okay? So then that was the second person was like a QS or project QS, and then who did you hire after that?
After that, I got my junior PM, Ryan. He's still with me now. He's awesome. He's a machine, man. And so he came on board, and then we went. Then was teaching him. We were running more jobs, and then at 6 months we went national, and we were like, we'll do anything around the country. I'd previously been a national project manager, so I had a lot of connections around. So he was there, and then so I started getting on the planes and flying. Now I'm meeting people, I'm driving, I'm everywhere, and so yeah, we had Hannah, Maddie, and Ryan, and then from there we got another QS, and I had a senior PM as well, and I had my admin person had changed to like a project administrator, and then I had a separate accounts person, and then I had like a fractured CFO that was operating for us. There's like 9 people at the end of last year, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like within 1 year, and then how many projects did you guys complete then that first year?
First year, I think we did about 38 projects. Year one, roughly.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy, man. It was a big year. It was huge. It was awesome. And year two we did 55 in the country.
Wow. So how do you maintain quality? Like the first thing I'm thinking is like shit must be going wrong, like left, right, and center. I mean, if I was running it, but I'm like thinking like, how do you maintain quality when you grow so fast, especially within that first year? Doing almost like 40 projects. Like how do you maintain quality and make sure that things are happening as they should? Did you put a lot of responsibility on others, and how did you sort of keep an eye on everything?
At the year one, like when I say 40 projects, they were all very small, right? Like lots of little jobs, like quick turnarounds. There was not as many larger ones. I think what I did create at the start was a really regimented site report. Like we do a very detailed report that gives a very good overview of the project. For example, we get the floor plan and we do put a little camera on like a snip of each corner or wherever, and we take a photo every week from that same angle on our report so you can see the progress. And so like as we grew, I created this report so that when Ryan was running jobs, and if I couldn't be there, I could read this report and I could see exactly what was going on. And again, like we just had amazing subcontractors. Like guys knew what I wanted to build, and I was like, again, like I said earlier, back the jockey, not the horse. I was like, man, please, like we need to do amazing because like we're gonna get more work. You're gonna make money. I'm gonna make money. We're all gonna grow. And the guys and us, we all just bought into like we were like a family, like we all wanted to win. And so the accountability was created within the culture of like, if we make a mistake, we fix it quickly, and we're gonna make mistakes. And then having that transparency with our clients, like, I'm a new business. I'm out there grinding and hustling. If I do not answer, I will call you. And I will fix it. Like, if I don't answer and you call me a second time, I'll pick up straight away. If I don't answer, text me and I will get like, and I just like had to have this level of like vulnerability of being like,
Yeah, I love it. Like, so you kind of like, okay, so you were just kind of quite open. You weren't like pretending to be someone you're not. You're like, we're first year, new business, we're hustling, and just being upfront with people. I think people appreciate that as well. And people like we're always happy to back someone if they knew.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people don't realize that, like especially young builders and that. Like people will give you a chance. Like if you kind of just don't pretend that you're someone that you're not, but you're just like, hey, I'm 1 year in, this is where we're at. I believe I'm confident we can do this job for you. Give me a chance. Like people are way more likely to give you a chance than what you think, right?
Massively. And like we had some people that were like, hey, you're a year in, like we need you to just get a bit more time and that's all good. That's cool. But like have those conversations, because otherwise you're going to be wondering what if, like, was my price wrong? Is it my workmanship? And it's like, no, we're a big global brand. Like we just need you to do, I need you to go do it and install a few cabinets and show us that you can like put a cabinet in and then you can get the fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all good. Like, but you just, and I think it teaches you humility as well.
Yeah. How has business like helped you grow as a person?
I was a good businessman, but I don't think I was a great boss. I think I've learned, like, having my own business has taught me so much about, like, it comes from the top down. Like, if I'm not 100, we're all not 100. Like, you have to show up every day, and it's hard, man. Like, there's days you don't want to. You got something going on at home, or you had one too many beers, but like you don't want to. And if you don't, you can see the effects on business. I think the biggest life lessons of business has taught me is like to manage my risk appetite. Like I was very pro risk. Now I'm a little bit risk averse, still pro risk. Also, not everyone's your friend. Like would be the biggest thing I've learned. Like people that I thought, were my friends and my guys, and like we're together, they're not your friend. In business, like he's here to make money, I'm here to make money. Like they want a good product, I got to give them a good product. They pay me to do a service, I need to do it. Everyone's your friend until something goes wrong, right? And then it's like, well. And so like my personal circle of friends has gone like, it ballooned up when Build ballooned, and then now it's like very tight knit. Like I'm like, very few people like actually spend like, I give that quality, and because I have less time, so I give that quality, meaningful time to the people that matter, that have been on the journey. And yeah, like a bit what we talked about before, my biggest one is like making sure my purpose and my goals align. Which before, as a person, I just had like goals. It comes January, rolls around, you're like, I'm gonna run a half marathon. I'm gonna, whatever. Like, but then like my purpose is very clear. Good work, good people, make money. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
How are my goals in line with that? I want to run 100 kilometers, do an ultra or whatever this crazy thing is people are doing. I don't have time to practice for a 100-kilometer run because I can't do good work and I can't make money if I'm running. Some people can. I personally cannot manage a baby, But and now I'm like, I understand life's coming like this, right? You just need to try find a center and a happy medium. And there's some awesome people that like run business, and I look at, I'm like, designers or builders or whatever, and like some guys have like a great balance. Like a really good builder I know, he's awesome at jiu-jitsu, and now he's an amazing builder. He's growing this epic building company. But 2 nights a week, him, his 2 daughters, and his wife, they go to MMA and they get it done. And he's like, he turned to me one day on site and he was working for us. He's like, dude, I've got to go. I was like, what? I said, no. It's my night with my girls. We're going to do this. And like before for me, I was like, nah, man, we got to like do. But that's important, bro. Like have that. Like take those moments because you're never going to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's that changed for you in terms of family? Like, obviously you got like have you got a boy or girl?
Little boy.
Little boy. Oh, cool. How old is he now?
2.5, man. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool age for a boy. Like, breaking shit everywhere, just running around probably.
Yeah, man, he loves it, man. He's got his little DeWalt kit. He's honestly, yeah. But it's family's so different. I think being a dad is a very interesting experience. Me and Jess, we met in COVID times, which even that is a wild. Remember when we were all locked inside our houses?
Yeah, so weird, eh? So weird.
We went together for very long, and then boom, we had a baby rapidly after. We were together for 7 months, and then found out that she was having a baby. It's crazy times. And then so that experience of like having to grow up and become a dad, I think mums are amazing. Mums, like shout out to all the mums, any women in construction, like you guys are superheroes. Like the whole experience, right? Like, and they become maternal. Like a lot of ladies become maternal straight away. I think I really struggled with fatherhood. Because I had all these bigger goals again, and my purpose wasn't aligned. But I want to start this business, but I want to do this, and I wasn't ready to be a dad. And now, and then when you first have a child as a male, I think it's kind of hard to build that bond at the very start. You love them, you see them, you love them, they're amazing. But I think there's a moment where you're like, they don't need you. You know what I mean? Like they need mum, and it's quite hard. And you're like, you're just the water boy. You're like, can I get you something? Like, can I? You know, you're just trying to help, and you don't kind of fit in. And then post 6 months of him sort of getting to like 1, and 6 months to 1, like they start to want a bit more time with you. And now, like, he's my best friend. We go to golf together. We went and bought his first kicking tee and his rugby ball the other day. He like, you know, like I take him to gymnastics every Saturday morning at night. Like I love being a dad, and like I prioritize that now.
Dads can sometimes be a bit hard on themselves as well because you expect, you know, there's this expectation that you're going to see your baby and then all of a sudden you're just going to change straight away. Yeah, and some dads do change straight away, and that's their kind of journey. And then other dads take a little bit of a while to kind of get used to it, especially the first child. You kind of because it's just like a little blob, right? It's just like a little teddy bear, you know. It's like they don't do anything, and when they can start walking around and they can high five you and they start talking and stuff, like that's when the dads almost can start shining. And that's when it sort of kicks in more. So I think there's a lot of dads there that think that like they almost need to pretend they're more into it than they get their first child, and then they're like not into it at all, but they have to kind of pretend like, I love being a dad, it's great, but like they're just faking it.
You're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly, right. So I think there is that element for a lot of dads. So it's not all the same for everyone, right? And then also if your first one's a girl versus your first one's a boy, it's always kind of different as well. So I think dads can just if you're first time dad or whatever, and you not feel like you just kind of not feeling that connection yet, like it just takes a little bit of time. I have heaps of mates that have gone through exactly that same thing as well, where it's like just takes a bit of time, and then boom, as soon as they're like 2 or whatever, you're just like, now we're buddies, you know, now we're hanging. So and then you mentioned before, because you had pretty big goals, right, when you started, and was it almost like then you have it must have been a bit of a shock to the system, because you have these goals, you're like, this is what I'm going to do, and then all of a sudden, left field, boom, now you have a son. How did you navigate that, and how did, I assume that was kind of a bit of a struggle, right?
It was hard. I had these big goals of what I wanted to achieve, and like I'm not proud to admit, and my family took a sideline seat to where my goals were, and me and my son's mum separated after Build I'd been in business 6 months. I was just working, man. Like
it's like one goal.
I'm coming home. She's like, you need to spend some time with your son. I'm like, I need a price. I've been on site all day, like, and I'm just on the laptop, like, just. And I just had these goals that I just couldn't. I had tunnel vision, and I just wanted to just achieve these things, and I had my blinkers on, man. I was just, I was going, and I just let my family, not even just family, like my friends and my personal life and my parents who like they're a bit older, they live up north, and everyone was second to the goal. And I look back now and I think you're an idiot. Like you should have goals, but like don't forget what matters. But like also I think no one that is successful is going to turn around to you and say, hey, you didn't sacrifice. You have to, there's going to be a point.
Yeah.
Some sacrifice, you know?
It's just like a dance. It's like a constant dance. It's a constant, like, it's like this saying someone once said, it's like a drunk man riding a donkey. You know, you're like, then you fall off the left side, and then you get back on the donkey, and then you fall off the right side, and you get back on the donkey. It's like, then you're spending like too much, then you're like too into the family, and the business is not getting the attention it deserves, and then you're too much into the business, and the family's not getting, and it's like, you're never going to hit it perfect all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's also going to be seasons, when your first 2 years of starting your business, that's a season of having to put in like a lot of work, a lot of extra time and nighttime and burning the candle on both ends, and like, I had this conversation with my wife the other day, like I leave in the morning, it's dark, I get home, it's dark, and I just get home quickly, put food down me, and then, okay, girls, boys, time for bed. Yeah. And it's like, my wife was like, it's okay, we could just be poor. We don't have to do this. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. This is, there's seasons. Like, it's not going to do this forever, but like, we're going through a season of growth right now. When this is what we need to do,
Yeah.
And I think that's super important. So you've kind of been in the business 2 years now. What have we talked a little bit off air as well about how you mentioned you kind of restructured, consolidated, because you can't just grow like this the whole time.
No.
And there is such a thing as profitability, and that needs to like be there in a business. Because there's that whole, what's the saying about revenue is well, anyway, there's like a saying.
Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
That's it. That's a saying. Revenue is vanity. It's really, especially the first few years, like you love that revenue. Is like millions. Ooh, I'm making millions. You look at that profit.
Nothing.
You don't answer the phone from the accountant. You're just too scared. So talk to me about that. How did you restructure? Why did you restructure? What's the focus now that you're a bit more wiser?
Now, like it's quite funny to talk about that saying. Like I listened to that podcast about is it Richard Branson, the guy that started Virgin?
Yeah.
I didn't actually understand what net profit was until he had explained it on this podcast. He's like, imagine like a fish, right? Like you're in the ocean. Here's all the fishes. That's all the money, right? There's all the dollars. The net profit, like that's the revenue. The net profit is the money that you get in the net. Everything else doesn't matter. And then I was like, oh my God, I get it. And I'm like to my accountant, what's the net profit? Like what? Forget all these other things. But
yeah, that's actually a great way of saying it. It's like the other stuff, because you just go, oh, look at all the fish. But like, it just, whatever's left over, that's it. That's really the only thing. That's why you do all of this.
Yeah,
it's for that,
There's no, if you're making $1,000 net profit, it doesn't. Why are you taking this risk? But yeah, so we grew, and then we had some guys leave, and some people moved on to other roles, and I had that time to myself, like I was saying to you, in the Mount over the break, and I just sort of thought, like, hey, like, how do we drop our overheads? Like, what do we need? Like, what do we actually need to run this business? Like, came in. And like I'm a full crazy man. Like I've got a whiteboard in my lounge. Like I'm like one on wheels. Like I'm nuts. And I come in. I'm like I'm in the office. First week of Jan. Came back from this holiday, feeling invigorated. And I'm like, we don't need that. Like why do we have that? And I just sort of like had been talking to some people about the offshore model. A few friends that own a few businesses, and they've got teams set up in the Philippines, and some friends have businesses that have teams set up in Indonesia. And there's these furniture companies, and people are importing things to China, and I was like, oh, well, like we're paying a separate bookkeeper, and like we've got all these other bits and pieces, and why don't we look into this offshore thing? Like, how can we start to do it offshore? And then I'm a big person. I think you should learn from people. I reached out to a shop fit guy. I talk about them quite a bit, and I really, really admire this business out of Australia. I think they do awesome things. And a guy that I knew from New Zealand had just moved to that company, and I called him. I said, "Hey man, can I come to the Gold Coast and come to one of your sites?" He's like, "What?" And I was like, "I just want to come to see one of your sites. You guys, I just saw you guys did a LinkedIn post about how you've got a team in the Philippines. Like, can we just catch up?" Yeah, sweet. Caught up with this guy. I heard about how they do it and pros and cons, and looked at our business and looked at like what parts, like administration, some little bits of health and safety, bookkeeping, reconciling, tidying our folders, like triple SPs, things like that. Like, what things can we look to do offshore? And we did that. So last 6 months have been, and then still work in progress and getting that set up. And then looked at our team and looked at our roles and responsibilities, and sort of shifted, like, because we grew so quickly, everyone was kind of doing everything, Like I said, we tried to put those in, but like my PMs were doing, they were doing purchase orders and like invoice approvals and payment claims. And I was like, if I get someone else to do that, he can run one more job. That means we can, and so just had a big shake-up of that, of like what everyone's tasks are. And we're going through that process at the moment. It's only been 2-3 months in. And then we work to a point of like, what do we need to run the business, and what's going to be the biggest gain is we had, we pivoted my model of like young, like lots of young guys and young people hustling and starting. I was like, we need someone, you got to build your squad, there's got to be some depth in the team, right? You need the old heads, the old guard. And we've just brought in a commercial manager now. Never had one before. Don't really know. And I said to him on his first day, I said, hey man, I don't really know what you're going to do and where my line stops. So we're just going to figure out like how much you can do and then where I fill in, and like we're going to build this, and just had Ed join us, which is amazing. And he's like just coming again, and we're doing another shake up of like changing roles, responsibilities. And he's like, I see this gap. And yeah, we've just really been pivoting to maximize profitability, but also to be able to be more efficient. Because when we were moving, there's a friend of mine said there's a difference between being fast and being quick.
Okay.
I am very fast, but I am not quick.
What's the difference?
Fast, I'm a yes guy. I'm boom, I'll do this. Being quick means I've got processes and procedures. I go, oh yeah, sweet, douche, there. And the process will make it quick. I am fast. I personally go out and I'll do all the bits.
Yeah.
Being quick is where we want to be, you know?
Yeah. There was this old saying in CrossFit, there was just like, so slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that sometimes it's about just improving the efficiencies to be able to go faster. And that's what you just said, right? In terms of the systems, when those systems are in place, then things can actually you can speed everything up way faster. Yeah, I don't know if that's relevant to that point, but that's kind of what I was thinking now. So, okay, so you got that commercial manager, and what's his? Is he responsible over a big part of the business that you don't have to?
Yeah, so
he can dip into you.
Yeah, so Ed looks after. He manages the QSs, and he also the PMs report into Ed, and then Ed reports back to me. So I do. I'm sort of project director. Would be my given role, and marketing, BDM, and Ed sort of he checks the QSs, he's there, and it's also another person for the guys, I know what I know from my experiences. Ed comes from a more commercial, when I say heavy commercial background of construction, and it's his experience. And as we've just rebranded and with the new model of what we offer, now we're not only fit out, we're construction and fit out, and residential, which is great. We've got that depth in the team now.
Yeah, that's cool because essentially what you were lacking at is almost like a org chart, like a company structure.
Yeah,
it's kind of and we kind of had that in my business as well, where you kind of you hire someone and then they do a bit of everything. They just end up being an extension of one of your arms. They just do a bit of everything because you used to do everything and now they do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Then another helper comes and they do a bit of everything and everyone just does a bit of everything. It's a big mess.
Yeah.
But when you actually can put a bit of a structure in place and you can say, okay, these are the departments.
Yeah.
You're in charge of this. You're in charge. So no, I think that's a very, very smart way of doing it. So you just mentioned that you just expanded into, because you did fit outs, and now you're expanding into just commercial construction and residential construction. Why did you decide to expand across? What was the sort of thinking around that?
It was actually just an organic growth. We just, focused on fit outs, and that's where I'm highly capable and skilled in. And then, we had clients that we're big on our clients, big on relationships. Can I swear? No,
Yeah, you can swear. Go for it.
Okay. We have a motto of, I tell everyone, I'm to the boys, I'm if you look, I would rather see you're not on site and you're at coffee with the client, you're hanging out with them, you go for beers, you guys run around with the kids, and the guy's what do you mean? I'm because I want you to be friends with them. I want you to feel like they're your friend. And they're why? Because you'll never fuck over your friend. You're going to work hard for your friend.
Yeah.
He's my mate. I can't mess this up. I want my mate's shop to open up. Oh, it's my buddy. I need this place to be ready so he can get his food into the, prep kitchen or whatever. So, and through creating that culture and growing those friendships with these clients, it came Sam, I'm moving house. Can you look at my kitchen in the new place? And it's it's not really a thing, but yeah, all good. And you've got this relationship, you want to help them. And so we had one opportunity like that led to another opportunity. And then it's last year we did 5% of the business, 3% year one was residential, 5% year two. Now we're going to the third year. We're we're looking into it now. We're well, we've got all this stuff coming from word of mouth. We don't post about it. We don't really show it. Let's actually show what we do. So that bit grew. The commercial of construction, again, like we just had an opportunity come. We're doing an apartment block, doing some light well upgrades and some structural stuff. And someone came across and they were like, hey, like a person that we do a lot of hospo for, and they were like, would you do this? And I was like, yeah, we can do that. And it's like, we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves, right? And now we've got Ed on board. Like I said, there's depth in the squad. Like the team's grown. We've got the capability, we've got the capacity, and we've got the systems in place now to be able to do that. So we just naturally grew into now offering a full fit out and construction.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had like a few guests on that do, I'm thinking of Jeff Vivian from Vivian Construction.
They run an awesome business.
Yeah, amazing business, and even who did I have on recently? Cook Brothers. So they, Dave from Cook Brothers, so they also very generalist, like very big company. I think they were like top 20 last year.
Yeah.
I think they did like 170 mil or something like that. I saw somewhere. So they generalists, and I talked to Jeff about that as well, because it's good to niche down, it's good to focus on one thing. But Jeff's approach was more like, well, the market shifts, things change, opportunities open up, close up. If you were just a few years ago, if you just specialized in multi-unit builds, you all of a sudden all your work would have dried up straight away within a 12-month period. But because they do a bit of that, they do a bit of commercial, they build custom homes, they become almost a bit of a generalist in the construction game. There's a bigger opportunity for him to reduce his risk and then obviously grow long term. So it's it's two sort of levels of thinking, because my thinking would have been immediately like, you do commercial fit outs, you're very good at it, you have your systems in place. Surely you haven't set the market, you haven't picked up all the work that's currently out there.
Yeah.
It'd be better to just double down on that, try to get more of the same thing, because you'll be, like you said, you'll be fast.
Yeah.
And quick. And so, but no, it's interesting. It's definitely, and I don't think it's a wrong move. It's just a different style of move, because you kind of go, well, the opportunities are there. We're very client centric, so why not solve all their problems around construction, I guess.
Well, yeah, 100%, man. And it's quite funny, when we made this shift, a few people referenced Vivian, and I met Jeff a few times, and yeah, they've got a great thing. And I think similar to them, like we focus on the people, like, and I was like, it's not the fit, yeah, as you said, it's not the fit out. It's like we like the people that we work with. We like the relationships. It's like, if I can fix all your problems, I would way rather pick up 200 grand from Just Brad than have to go and pigeon 200 grand from 3 people. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's just focus on that, and then you get the better relationships. You know what people want.
It's continuity. You build that continuity out because it's the same people.
And
same thing.
You're right. Like, even like you said, the multi-homes, like, if you were only doing KO stuff a year ago, you'd have been, you're driving in that new Raptor right now.
Yeah.
but now you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Like,
Yeah, that's true. So there's definitely that level as well, because niching, is good. But in the construction game, I think it's good to kind of, especially in this market, just to looking at picking up different opportunities, I think is a smart move, because things are, but it's changed. The landscape's changed. So that's for sure. So what's the next move? What's the big goal for what you want to do what's success look like for you over the next sort of 5 years?
Well, we've got the rebrand that's come out today, which I've been working on for the last 6 months, which I'm, thank you to Studio South, who the agency that we went with and partnered with to do this brand.
They do cool stuff. Studio South, yeah.
Oh, awesome! We just did their office fit out for them as well, which was
awesome.
Which was great. Great. They do some great stuff, and so the immediate goal for the next 6 months is like just to get the new brand out there. I think the larger 5-year goal for the company now, it's real good people make money. I want to like. I can't put like a pigeonhole of like monetary value. Like, I used to, when I say my big goals were like idealistic and crazy, I used to think I want to build a skyscraper, and no matter what, I'm going to build a skyscraper. No one in New Zealand is letting me build a skyscraper. No one has the money.
Not a lot of skyscrapers being built anyway.
Like stuff like, what was I thinking? Like, so now we just want to, I really want to grow the business, partner with great clients. We'd love to continue growing the business and doing national work. Next year, 2 years, probably look to open a second office.
Cool. Like down, like Wellington or South Island or something?
At the moment, we're focusing on the Golden Triangle really hard, so Auckland, Hamilton, Tauranga.
Yeah.
South Island's a very interesting market. We've done a lot of work down there. We're currently doing a big bar and restaurant in Queenstown down there, but very different. Like it's a completely different way of operation. We're dealing with an Australian client. We were laughing about this last night. And he's like, oh, man, the carpet's going to arrive in Auckland. You just drive it down and go over the bridge. I said, over the bridge? What are you on about? And he's like, the bridge, between the islands. I was like, mate, have you been to New Zealand? He's like, no. And I was like, we got to go on a boat. Like, we can't just like...
He saw the harbour bridge on the photo and he thought it was between the islands or something.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah. And then probably a South Island office would be the next logical step. I think in Dunedin.
Yeah.
And then just keep growing the team. And we'd love to just continue to do bigger work. We'd love to do our first out the ground project, getting into that light commercial and sort of space. I think in the next 5 years, this is where we want to go. And just continuing to learn, grow, and make money.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. In terms of people always ask me, and I think it's just like that whole thing of people want to make sure they're not alone. But have you had some examples where some shit's gone really wrong and you've had to you were kind of left holding the bag a little bit on some jobs, or has everything been pretty smooth?
No, man, we've had some blunders. Talk
me through that. What's been the biggest blunder?
The biggest blunder, I'd say we did a job down in Tauranga, which was all good, and it was a real tight deadline, pre-Christmas opening, and I had a project manager working for me, and I just kind of pushed the guys too hard. We had a lot on. He had a lot on. Things were missed, and council inspections were missed, waterproofing, rebuilding the balls. Didn't he hadn't got things. Pre-line wasn't done. Just did a post line, no pre-line, and we had to go back. And the joinery came to us imported, and because we were moving so quick to price this job at the beginning as well, they were like, "We're going to ship you the joinery." Yeah, sweet. Joinery came, but we had underestimated how it was coming, and just didn't ask the right questions of they're bringing a whole shop of joinery in a container. I had just assumed unit, the unit is going to be a unit. Hindsight, he's bringing 30 units. They're not going to fit in one container. They're flat pack. Hadn't priced or allowed for the time to assemble all this stuff. And you had to bite the bullet, and took a loss. It was a big loss on the job. And we lost lots of money. But like I said to you earlier, you either win or you learn. And that's the outlook I have. And we walked away from it thinking, okay, cool. Just because a job has a big dollar value, if it's not right for us and we haven't set up and done the pre-work, don't do it. And yeah, it was hard, man. We got paid, but we were just operating at it. We were in negative on that project and paying people out of our profits, and it was crazy. It was a really hard time, and it was a really good learning for me though of how and then I think I look at it in reflection, and I think I became a better boss through that because I didn't handle that well, because I as it started to the chaos was coming, I just tried to take over. It kind of the PM, I was like, just move aside, let me. And I actually made the situation worse, because then there's two people people are answering to. Everyone's already highly stressed. The guys on site are doing 18-hour days. They know it's gone to shit, and I'm just adding to the stress. The guy that worked for me, he's not happy. He's feeling stressed, and I walked away from it, and even just talking it through now, I'm like, I now understand things are gonna go wrong. Manage your risk, and you need to be more supportive. You can't control everything, but you can control the controllables.
Yeah. And how have you evolved your leadership style over that? Over the 2 years, obviously you learn make mistakes. Like you say, you kind of just jump in there, get out of the way, I'll sort it out, whatever.
Yeah.
But like you can't really lead like that. So what's sort of like your approach now in terms of leadership, and how do you kind of cultivate that good culture? And obviously it's hard, but how do you kind of keep that positive energy, keep a good culture within the company? You do anything specific to kind of keep that rolling?
We're massive on like health and fitness. So like we give all our guys like gym memberships. Like we'll give them a contribution towards a gym membership. Like last year we did like we bought everyone half marathon tickets. We do like a wellness thing, mid-year wellness event. We do like, we've got a dinner next month for like all staff and their partners. We do subcontractor appreciation night midway through the year. We put in a tab and invite all our subbies, and like we really try build that culture. But I think the health and fitness side, I think if you're healthy and fit and able, you have a healthy mind. I personally wake up every day at 4 a.m. I'm in the gym.
Love it.
Like that's how I set up for my day. Someone like Ed, he trains at night, but that's how he winds down for his day. You know what I mean? But I think having that is really important in our culture. I think as a leader, creating an accountability. Like I was setting these things for the guys, but no one was keeping me accountable. Now it's very clear. Like it's literally massive in our office that whose roles and responsibilities are what. And like I'm like, call me out. I made a mistake. I made a mistake yesterday. I was moving fast, not quick, and I was writing things, and I was like, we're going to VE this, and I was $3,500 off, and I thought I was right, and I'd already gone to the client, and Ryan at PM was like, he was wrong, And I was like, and then he goes to Ed, and he's like, should I call him or you? And Ed's like, call him, tell him, and he called me, and I was like, thank you, I need that. Now we have a culture of, we're all accountable for our work, like, and that we just want to breed a fun, friendly environment. And as a leader, I want to be firm but fair. You know, I'm 28. Like I'm the youngest person in my company. Like everyone's older than me. It's has its own challenges, but I think respect is earned and not given. I need to earn my guys' respect. They need to respect me because they need to know I wouldn't ever ask them to do something I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah. I think that's good. And have you got any help in terms of like an advisory team or people that you catch up with? Like how do you've grown fast and you're getting a lot wiser. Who do you sort of dip into that helps you with some guidance on decisions and so on?
I've got some really good mentors, like I spoke about earlier, that I can call and lean on and get opinions from. I've got a friend of mine that he's got an electrical business, and he's a great businessman, lots of property investments and other businesses and stuff. I go to him a lot. I've got another really good friend of mine, Steve, who's he's like really big in the tech space, which is really random. I've created, and I actually got a life coach last year. When my life was in a bit of turmoil, I was introduced to this guy, Drew, and came on board, and he specializes people in construction. He does a lot. Construction is his main thing. Life coach for people owning businesses and senior roles, and he's there as well. And he's like, I can text him or whatever and call him, and just some good mentors. And then my family more. I never used to tell my family what was going on at work. I used to think they didn't want to know. She just like, everyone just wants food on the table and like a holiday once a year, But like now I'm like, hey man, I'm going through this.
Yeah.
But my mentors are amazing. I've been very, very fortunate to like align with some good people organically and connect. And I always, if I have a large problem, I'll actually call 3 different people from 3 different fields. Like I'll call a mate of mine who owns another fit out company. Hey bro, I've got this issue. Have you had this? I get his opinion. I'll call Steve, who owns a massive tech company. Hey bro, I've got this issue. What do you think? Get his opinion. Call my mum. Mum, what do you think? My mum's soft, man. If my mum ran a business, everyone would be getting paid way too much. There would be no profit. So she's always, she's a hard one. But, like I get 3 real random ones. And then I think about I want to respond. I don't want to react. How do I deal with it? And I've got some really good mentors, and then we also got sorry, I'm bouncing around a bit, but we had an advisor. Accountants offer financial advice, so then we got some financial advice from those guys, and we're doing that for a little bit. But yeah, it's I think you can never ask too many questions. And then reading, like, how much do you learn from reading? Hard to find the time to do when you're busy and moving, but God, like you can. I actually got an amazing package at the start of the year from an electrical company. You know, you get your send outs or whatever. I had an electrical company send me a gift to the office, and they sent this to, I think, a bunch of their clients. And it was like, here's the start of the year. Looking forward to working together again. Here's some stuff to help you with your year. And he sent me 6 books. And I was
awesome.
It was awesome. I was like, there was like Atomic Habits was in there.
Yeah, I was literally thinking that's probably like the book, one of those sort of books, right? To get the year started right.
And I was like, dude, this is a great, this is something tangible that's going to affect my life. And every time I grab this book, I'm going to think of you, you know? So yeah, lots of reading and podcasts. So the irony, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of good to drive around a bit of a podcast. The audiobooks are pretty good too. Is there any specific resource a book that you've read that's helped you the most in business?
I think Legacy, which is like a book which there's 3 books that I think that have really shaped me that I've read over the last few years. Legacy, which is the book about the lessons you can learn from the All Blacks. Which is an amazing book on business. And it just talks about the things, and that's why I say like depth in the squad, burn the boats, all spearheads, no dickheads. Like that's a motto they have, and it's an amazing book. I highly recommend anyone reads it. There's a book called The Happiest Man Alive, which that sort of recentered me, that book. I cried at the last page of that book. It's about this guy who he was in the concentration camps, escaped, was taken back, beaten, whatever. His wife was everything, like all this stuff happened to him. Got out, ended up in Australia, so on and so forth. He became a business owner and all of this. And his whole family, his wife, children, everything. No, his wife knew. The kids didn't know until they overheard the dad talking to someone like years. And they were like, what? And he was like, I'm the happiest man in the world because like my life could be this and I'm this. And it just gave me a real good perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Those 2 books. And then the last one I would say is Jimmy Carr.
Yeah,
you know, the comedian.
Yeah.
Have you read his book?
No, I haven't. But is it a recent one that he brought out, or was it from a while ago?
A little while ago. No, I think like last year or a year before. Amazing book. A friend of mine, again, like another resource, my friend Josh that owns a big clothing brand, he recommended that book to me. Another person I go to for business advice. It's it's a great book on understanding yourself and becoming a leader, and like just talks about like fatherhood and life, and just those 3 books I think if I could recommend to anyone. But audiobooks are great as well. I'm trying to audiobook what's it called, The Chipmunk Brain or something like that. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
I'm trying to do. I don't know how you do that. Do you sit? Do you close your eyes, or how do you do that?
What I found with audiobooks, for me personally, everyone's different, is that because I used to do back in the day where I'd just like power through them and just listen to like an hour at a time, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me to remember the most of it, you know, to kind of like retain the information the best, is I'll only listen to it in 15-minute increments. And that's how it works the best. So what I normally would do is, I haven't done it like for the last couple of months, but I would just, when I put like one of my kids down to bed, one of my little ones, I'll sit next to them while they wait for them to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boom, I've got 15 minutes, chuck it on, only do 15 minutes. And I just do that every night. And before you know it, like you'll get through like a couple of books a month, because you can do it on 1.25 or 1.5 speed as well. So it's actually faster. But yeah, just like 15-minute increments, like once a day. And I almost like tell myself I'm not allowed to go over the 15 minutes. So then I know I'm going to do it and I don't miss it. That's how I found the best way to read it, because you really like retain the information that way as well. Because sometimes you read it, if you listen for an audiobook for an hour, like you would have drifted off like 50 times while you're listening to that book. You know?
See, I was trying to do it while driving, but then you get a call and I'm bounced out of what I'm listening, and I just couldn't retain the info.
Yeah,
It's a good way to do it.
So it's like I learned from the Atomic Habits book of like just combining two, can't remember the phrase, but sort of combining two things together.
Yeah.
And sort of like, when I put my kids down, I do my 15-minute audio and then I combine them, so I know that I do it every night, because I'm going to have to put my kids down every night, right? I don't forget that.
Yeah.
So, so no, that's a good way to do it. We've gone like way over time. We can talk for another 2 hours, Sam, but I really appreciate you coming on, and just want to say congrats on all your success so far. I know you're still going.
Yeah.
But you've done a great job of building your brand. And I think especially a lot of builders can like learn from you to not be scared to put yourself out there, because in the end of the day, no one gives a shit.
No one cares.
No one cares. And I think people don't know that. It's like no one actually cares.
Mate, they'll talk about you at the pub for 5 minutes and then they're going to move on.
And that's it. And so don't be scared to put yourself out there and building the brand, whatever that means for you. I think you've done a great job. So well done. And obviously building a solid business with good staff and doing your thing. Well done. Thanks for coming on. And my last question is always, did you have fun?
I had lots of fun, man. Thank you so much for having me, bro. It's been awesome to come on, and appreciate the opportunity to come and have a yarn and catch up.
Yeah, awesome. No, we'll have you on for sure in the future as well. So thanks, mate. Cheers,
Cheers, mate. Thank you.